estrangement between adult children and their parents is often a silent grief layered with shame, guilt, confusion, and longing. In today's episode, I am not excusing abuse, neglect, or invalidation from parents. I am not glorifying silence, ghosting, or cancel culture from adult children. I am exploring the real pain, real confusion, and real possibility of repair, where it is safe and possible to do so. So fellows, welcome to Overcomers Connect, where healing meets truth and compassion opens the door to deeper understanding. I am your host, A.B. Ambek, a social worker, psychotherapist, and advocate for restorative justice. Today we are diving into one of the most heartbreaking and misunderstood topics of our time: estrangements between parents and adult children. There's a lot of questions to be answered here. For example, why do adult children go silent? Why do some parents feel abandoned after giving everything they had? And has modern therapy made things better or worse? Again, we are not here to blame. We are here to understand, to hold both sides with compassion, and to explore how healing and not silence is the answer. Fellows, we hear things like they raised us, fed us, sent us to school. They say they gave us everything, and still many adult children walk away without saying goodbye, without explanation of any kind, and often without returning back home. We all know there is always a two sides of a coin. From a parent's perspective, you hear things like, I gave everything, my time, my money, my heart, my entire life, and now they don't speak to me. And then, from the adult child's perspective, you also hear, I tried all my best to talk to them all my life, but they wouldn't listen. I had to choose my peace over their pride. You see, fellas, you see what's happening here is a collusion of unspoken pain, unmet expectations, and generational script. We've never ever questioned until our children decided to rewrite the script. Oh yes. Therapy. Why being so powerful can sometimes also give language for disconnection without teaching the tools for reconnection. I'll come again. And yes, therapy, why being a powerful tool, can sometimes give language for disconnection without teaching the tools for reconnection. The big question is, has connection become disposable? In this age of therapy, boundaries and mental health awareness, are we healing or we are just avoiding. So let's explore why this generation is going silent and what are the possible causes of this silence. So you see, one of the major reasons of estrangement between adult children and their parents is generational conflicts. So Generation X and those generations that came before, they grew up in an environment where certain harsh discipline, strict parenting, or emotional neglect were normalized and rarely named as abuse. Oh yes. Many Gen X like myself, we were taught to tough it up. We were taught to shut up and avoid complaining. All this was to reflect a cultural value of resilience and endurance. And then if you are a woman, oh my God, may God help you. That's just a story for another day. But you see, today's generation, the millennials and the Gen Zs, they've broadened the definition of abuse to include not only physical abuse, but emotional and neglect, gaslighting, and even subtle power imbalances to be abused. So, you see, corporal punishment like spanking, hitting a child with belt or hand. My dear, past generation considered it a normal and effective way to discipline children, to teach respect and consequences. But in today's view, it is often labeled as physical abuse and linked to trauma, fear-based conditioning, and emotional harm. Those days, we were told that children should be seen and not heard. In past generation, it was a way of teaching respect to elders, manners, and self-control. But in today's generation, it is seen as silencing a child's voice, neglecting emotional needs, and fostering shame or low self-esteem. Oh yes. So another cause of estrangement between adult children and their parents is the definition of gender roles. Oh yes. You see, in past generations, fathers were strictly providers while mothers acted as caregivers. So children were expected to conform to gender expectations. Okay? But you see, in today's generation, the status quo has been tumbled. Oh yes. It's been tumbled. So, those kind of behavior are not considered oppressive. They are not considered to be emotionally limiting and harmful to mental health, especially for those who do not fit binary rules. Oh yes, life has changed, fellas. And then you can also look into public shaming or scolding a child as one of the causes. Okay? So there's a big conflict between generations. So you see, before, scolding a child publicly or shaming a child, it was a normal way of correcting a child's behavior when the child is considered misbehaving, right? So parents or teachers, they openly reprimand a child, so with the hope that the child will learn if they do it that way. So, but you see, today's generation, that is considered emotional abuse. You know, it is considered emotional abuse, causing humiliation and long-term self-esteem issues. Okay? Another cause too we want to look into is withholding affection. So you see the tough love. Oh yes, that's a conflict between generations, and it could be one of the causes of estrangement between parents, adult children, and their parents. So in past generation, it was a way to build resilience, to prevent spoiling a child, they say, and encourage independence. But today, that behavior is labeled emotional neglect. When you don't show affection to your children, you are withholding affection. It's now considered emotional neglect, you know, and leading to attachment wounds and relational difficulties. So in the past, when parents, you know, they don't embrace you, they don't hug you and all that, it was just like, I don't want to spoil them, I want them to be independent. But now it's a serious abuse. Okay? And then another cause we might want to look into is before we walk, before we play, you have to do your chores. There's responsibility to everybody, every member of that family, even at a young age. You know? So it was their belief in the past that it was a way to install discipline on children, work ethics, okay, and responsibility. But these days, it is no longer considered that way. It is now framed. Sometimes it is framed as a parentification. Excuse me, okay, or exploitation, when children take on too many adult-like duties. Okay? So before you do chores, you have responsibility. There's a work you wake up to do. But these days, they've renamed it. They've now framed it to be parentification or exploitation, when you make children to take on too many adult-like responsibilities and duties.